cider and a switch leg thing. Ride at the dawn on his motorbike. Looking for legends on the Sunset Strip with a stone cold paranormal partnership. Member Town Rick tried to sell me some crack. Listen to the podcast, man, and take that shit back. It's Urban Legends, the podcast about urban legends. And here your host, Neil and Chris. You'll receive our pod in your ears tonight.
Hello and welcome to this week's Urban Legends, the internet podcast, which is the largest urban legends podcast by volume. I am one of your hosts, Chris Flynn, and with me, as always, is Monsieur
Neil Herbert, or Neil Herbert.
Hi, Neil. How you doing?
Yeah, all right. Is that volume by imperial weight or metric, or doesn't it matter?
Well,
Either or.
Yeah, either or. Like, I mean, because I'm measuring, it really doesn't matter because they're both being measured on the same scale, be it metric or imperial.
Whichever one it is. Yeah, fair enough.
So Neil, this is an early start for us. We've started before the English football, the soccer.
Indeed.
Soft Neil, I've had a little tickle.
Had you?
I've had a little tickle.
Yeah,
what am I doing, Neil? What am I doing?
Touching your nose in a frankly distressing manner.
What does that mean?
You think you're in the know on something?
Oh, I'm certainly in the know, Neil. I've had a little tickle. I've put an accumulator on. I've had a little bit of inside track.
Okay.
A bit of inside information. You know, and I'm sure you know that...
you could share it with me and the listeners, because by the time they find out, it'll be too late.
It'll be too late. Too late.
But they'll be able to retroactively understand your powers of prediction.
You know how inflation's been running rife in the UK for about 2 years now. So, you and I, we both use that black market shop, don't we, down in Portslade?
Yeah.
It's been set up, like, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
It's been. I was going down there to get some milk. It's been set up in an abandoned National Rail station by the railway lines down in Portslade.
Yeah.
And the guy in there, right? He's in the know. He's in the know. Right?
Keep it quiet,
keep it quiet. But he's got an in with some Malaysian betting syndicates.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he told me
a suspicious amount of throw-ins or something.
No, he told me what all the results were going to be. So I've put a little accumulator on 338 to 1 nil. Imagine that. 338 dirty pounds right in my pocket.
So that 20p you'll be putting on. I mean, that's what
I put £1 on Neil.
Oh, £1.
Yeah, he encouraged me. He said, look, these
risky business.
Chances like this don't come along very often. I don't know why he said that. He's Malaysian.
No.
But I'm not going to do a Malaysian accent.
No.
He said,
reasons.
He said, but my cousin, he's in charge of a Malaysian betting syndicate. So here you go. Give me £1. And I said, whoa, easy. He went, look, give me £1, put £1 on, you're £2 out, you'll be £338 better. So I gave him the £1, and he, like, under the counter, put a post-it note, post-it note in my hand. So, yeah, I'm looking to be quids in, Neil. Not bad, is it? Little tickle, monster.
Nice.
Yeah. Don't mind if I do.
Well, you have to let us know how that pans out.
I'm a shoot. Well, I mean, it's a foregone conclusion.
Obviously, but nonetheless, let's
see what happens. I guess.
See what happens. Do
you know what? And this isn't something I was going to talk about, but it's just popped into my head. When I was 16, I started up a men's football team because I was precocious.
Okay.
They didn't do, like, we were playing in, like, the lowest Sunday league, so it wasn't really football. It was kind of just violence.
Yeah.
And we only won about 4 games the whole season because a lot of the people who were playing were also 16 and were physically intimidated by the hungover men.
Fair enough.
But one of the lads who played with us, I say lads, he was a bit older than us. His name was Taz Aizan Tajundo, the Malaysian sensation, as I dubbed him.
Okay.
Used to be our left back, and he was studying over here at Sussex University, and he'd never come for a beer. And we were like, yeah, fine. But he always used to play. He used to play in boots that are too small for him, so he always had bleeding feet. But I've looked him up since. He's actually now a world-renowned composer.
Well, there you go. So he was studying music.
He was studying. He was like on an super advanced course in Sussex about composition, and he's now head of music at some university in Malaysia. But he's kind of played in like his concertos, I guess, have been played like all over the world, and he's been in New York and everything.
Oh, fantastic!
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Imagine that. I'm trying to tap him up for a bit of see if I can get a university job.
I was going to say, yeah, if you tried to get in touch.
Teaching podcasting.
Imagine that.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? So I also wanted to update people on because I mentioned that I didn't have enough blood, so I've been put on put on iron supplements. And I had slightly high cholesterol, so I've been having oats as well. Lots of oats. Okay. Give me oats, Joanna. Give me oats, Joanna. Oats until the morning come. I believe that's the Oats song. It's either that or a song about apartheid. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but
one or the other.
I've now got too much blood, so I'm having to.
There's no winning, is there?
There's no winning. And the thing is,
I think a barber surgeon
I think it was a stitch up because my doctor's coming round and he's siphoning off a couple of pints a day. And he won't tell me where it's going.
Black pudding, isn't it?
It could be black pudding, yeah. He could just be like selling it to, I don't know, Peter Thiel to drink. I don't know. But yeah, like I'm, you can see, I'm very puffy, aren't I?
It's got sort of roseate. I don't know whether that's the
very much
computer screen or
very much like Violet from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when she eats that thing that turns her into a berry.
Yeah,
but full of blood. So that's something that's happening.
I suppose it's good that it's responded.
I'd rather have too much than too little.
Yeah, I think that's probably about right.
Not necessarily the
case. You can
with
afford to lose something, then, can't you?
You can, yeah. And I do lose a lot anyway.
Yeah.
With my street fighting.
Street fighting. Yeah.
Always
fighting. Your life is very much like the video game Double Dragon, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah. Very much like
with
that.
thugs.
Yep. I never take any side roads. Just go straight along that main street.
Yeah. Sometimes up and down.
Yep. Sometimes I find a bit of fruit in a box.
Right, that's always good. That'd be good for your health.
That is good for my health. Have you noticed, and I know this isn't a hot take, but so I noticed this year that they were selling mince pies, Christmas stuff in like September.
Very early. September as early as that.
Yeah, late September.
Didn't notice it that early. I think probably October, November time. Certainly by November, but that's probably part of the course. But yeah, didn't quite notice it as early as September, but yeah, certainly so.
So this is something. So I'd like to do a public service thing here, because a lot of our listeners are from America.
Summer's barely over by September.
I know.
Ridiculous.
And I think often, from what I've heard, they think mince pies are made with meat, and so I just want to clarify mince pies. Neil, what is the filling in a mince pie?
It's basically a bunch of spiced dried fruits. So it's got sort of cinnamon and I don't know exactly what the spices are, but it's quite medieval kind of thing, isn't it? It's
it's just dried raisins, a bit of kind of dried like orange peel, that kind of shit.
Depends how fancy your mince pie is. I mean, you get like
nuts if it's very fancy.
Yeah, nuts.
And it's that in a nice short crust pastry. Normally, you can get it in different pastries, doused in sugar.
Yeah, it's kind of very sweet, but with dried fruit, but with yeah, like kind of those kind of spices that you get, yeah, cinnamon and clove and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah. So it's not. It's actually very nice with a hot drink, a tea or a coffee. If you don't like dried fruit, then you're not going to like it. But I mean, it isn't made of minced meat. I think it's fair to say.
No, you want to go down. That's more of a it's more of an East End thing, isn't it? Pie and mash. if you want a pie with a load of mince in it, then you're going to a pie and
or
mash
Scotch pie
on top, or Scotch pie. Yeah,
Scotch pie like they used to have in the Beano comics, which have a little hole in the top and a ring like they're wearing a crown.
Nice. Or you could, similar but not quite the same. Go down Greg's, get like a steak bake or something. Or
I don't think they have Greg's in America, mate. Not yet.
Not yet.
Probably, I would think not ever.
Not now. I think they've probably got their own junk food. Got plenty of that.
Yeah, plenty.
No, just no. If you were in England and wanting to, I mean, it's like because I remember sort of like bumping into a German chap in the supermarket and he was asking where he could get Scotch eggs and he clearly wanted to try like this British delicacy. And I was thinking,
it's lovely.
Depends on where you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So a Scotch egg is an egg wrapped in sausage meat. Wrapped in breadcrumbs. I mean, in America they have armadillo eggs, don't they? That's a barbecue thing, and that's sausage meat.
Yeah, and I think it's also probably it might well be
jalapeno in the middle.
I can't remember what it's called, but there's an Indian dish that's very similar as well. But I think they tend to use lamb rather than pork.
And it's curry, and they've got
it's in curry. Yeah, so it's.
Hey, look! It's a worldwide sensation. The egg and meat.
Yes.
Gala pie, that's delicious.
Well, that's got an unusual kind of that's had to have a bit of food science with that because you've got a yolk that goes all the way through the pie.
Yep. Yeah, you have to stretch them out like people used to do in the Andes with their heads, and people think they're aliens.
Yeah,
that's where they got the technology. It was a rediscovered technology like cement, which was forgotten for ages, wasn't it?
Right. I was reading somewhere, it was the Roman cement that they got on the sea. It's supposedly, it wears much better.
Yeah, well, they rediscovered how to do it, but only like in the last couple 100 years. It's because it used pumice stone, volcanic stone, and so that's how they built their. It had to be rediscovered to do like good bridges. So Neil, I've been thinking of doing like a sort of like a children's Christmas musical, but like Hamilton, so it's like rap and that.
I mean, lack of qualifications on two fronts here is what I'm worried about. But
yeah, absolutely. But I've written a first little bit here to one of them, if you'd like to hear it.
Why not?
I don't have a beat, so I'm
just as well, frankly.
So
and I will not be providing one for you.
Dum 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 dum. It's like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air beat now, isn't it?
No.
So Christmas is coming and the goose is getting fat. We sent him to the projects to learn to rap. Christmas is coming. The goose just got a slap. He couldn't spit a line, so we sent the fucker back. What do you reckon?
I mean, it's quite a lot of swearing for a children's one.
Well, it's
so we're going for the American market as well. So it's projects rather than council estate.
Yeah, I'm going for the American market. That's where the money is,
that's where the money is, isn't it? Yeah, fair enough.
Like everyone here is broke.
Yeah.
Like even if
there's about 100 people who've got all the money.
Yeah, but they're not going to like rap, are they?
No, of course not.
Unless it's like
it's that twee ironic chat rap stuff.
Chat rap. Chat rap's okay.
I've got nothing against it, but
I know DJ. Well, I know I've met DJ Elemental a few times. He's a nice guy. Name's Paul. He does a lot of work with disabled and unprivileged kids.
No, good for him. Yeah, no, actually, I think a chap at work knows him. He was an old school friend or something.
Well, okay.
Because didn't he do the "Eat My Girl" song?
No,
years ago. Oh, okay. It might be someone else then.
Yeah. That's the guy who did the Pepsi advert.
Okay. Because he does some sort of.
Yeah, he rips it off.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That's the person he knows the person on that word.
But like Paul was fine about it. Like they did like a gig together and did like a battle rap, and then sort of like Paul's not really a very guy. So it's
okay. So he invented gentleman wrapping or chap wrap or whatever it's called.
Yeah, chatbot.
Yeah, okay.
Chat wrap. I don't know.
Don't know. I've heard some of it. I'm not.
Lovely. And some consumer news, if that's
okay. Well,
of interest to you.
firing on all fronts today.
Yeah, so which is, for people who don't know, in the UK, we have this independent consumer sort of company. It kind of survives because people subscribe to it. Okay. And it gives independent. It's called Which Magazine, but it's like a website.
I was really talking about Which or Money Supermarket or something.
Yeah. And it gives independent sort of consumer advice. It's really useful. Like it gives like honest reviews and all that kind of stuff. But they released something a couple of days ago, which was in the news, about Black Friday.
Oh,
which is a fairly recent thing in the UK. It's Amazon mainly have pushed it, and everyone else has jumped on. But it
tends to be more online, doesn't it, rather than in stores?
They found that 98% of products which they looked at were cheaper at other times of the year than on Black Friday.
It comes as no surprise to me whatsoever. It's become a really good marketing hook, and just people want to spend a bit of money before Christmas.
But it always comes before payday, which is useless.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose other people are better economising, but
or they just stick it on the card.
Yeah, this is true. Pay it for next month, which you can do interest-free, I suppose. So fair enough, as long as you pay it all off.
Hey Neil, that's some good advice from you there. I enjoyed that.
There you go.
It's nice. I'm seeing a side to you that I've never seen before. I'm thinking maybe you could front a daytime BBC consumer advice program. What do you reckon?
Yeah, why not? I'm going.
I'm your manager.
With some obvious homely advice.
Homely advice. Instead of putting the heating on, why not wear 7 blankets?
Yeah.
Come on, guy.
Instead of choosing between heating and eating, why about neither? Anyone really save? Anyone really break into super savings? By starving yourself and telling the heating off at the same time. Stay in bed all weekend. Then go back to the office.
I reckon it could be called Get a Deal with Neil.
Yeah, not bad. Rhymes, so that's got to be good, isn't it?
Oh, for BBC daytime TV, that's perfect. Deals with Neils. And we'd have to get another Neil in. So I don't know.
We definitely.
That'd half your fee.
Somebody with some amount of charisma and
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Get him in.
Well, I suspect he's got better things to do. He's probably like, no, we need someone a bit cheaper.
But it could be science and consumer advice in.
You basically want some middle-aged guy with a bit of a twinkle in his eye, and then he sort of gets
Neil Buchanan.
So that could work.
He could do it. He could.
Attack's not around anymore.
He could do an art thing, couldn't he?
Yeah,
that'd be good.
I was seeing him the other day. Apparently, he's been a kid. Well, he was one of the. People were thinking he might be Banksy. Well, that was one of the theories. Yeah. There's no way, is there?
No, absolutely not.
But yeah, no, because I can't remember.
That's like a proper post-ironic Gen Z.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Gen X. That's a Gen X.
I don't know who was proposing that, but it was really some newspaper article. Basically, because he's, I think he's being sued at the moment.
Who, Banksy or Neil Buchanan?
No, Banksy. Well, unless they're one and the same.
Oh.
But yeah, so I think they said there was 3 names. It was like basically there's some geezer who was outed in the Daily Mail years ago.
He's from Bristol, isn't he? Apparently,
he's definitely from Bristol. That much we know. It's been verified. But yeah, nobody knows. And I think his first name's known because it came up in an interview with the BBC. They've been talking about that. It isn't Tarquin, no. I mean, the Daily Mail said he was some ex-public school boy.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
Entirely possible. No, I quite like his stuff.
Oh, I don't mind it, but I mean, you'd need to be independently wealthy to be able to go around spraying graffiti without any fixed income.
Although I imagine he earns quite a bit from the
he does now, days. But at
the time
he's been around for 20 years or whatever.
At least, yeah. God. I do quite like that exit through the gift shop documentary as well. Actually,
do you reckon he's like now about 50 and he's still got a longboard and stuff?
I mean, like all street artists, yeah.
Oh, sad, isn't it?
We all cling on to certain delusions.
I mean, this podcast is nearly 5 years old now.
Yeah.
So that's stuff I had to chat to run out of, and it's absolutely nothing to do with the thinness of this topic.
No, I wouldn't have imagined so.
I just had a lot of stuff.
20 minutes. Just had a lot of stuff to get off your chest.
A lot of stuff to get off my chest. If not here, where? At the bus stop?
Exactly.
At the bus stop with a can? Yeah, maybe I'll do that as well later.
Well, why not? Street therapy.
Street therapy. That's one of the 5 promises of the government, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
street therapy.
Back to basics healthcare. Having problems with your mental health.
What's wrong with just shouting at birds?
Want to just talk about it to a person who works on a till, who hasn't got the training, resources, or time to deal with your issues. It's free, and it's
Yeah.
and they literally cannot complain about it.
We've just put up the minimum wage, so they can take on some extra responsibility.
Well, exactly, yeah. It's they're part of their duty.
Collective duty.
That'll shore you up so you can work from home. Everyone's 100%. A winner. Beautiful.
Yeah. So Neil,
thinking differently, Chris.
Thinking differently.
Not the usual tax and spend.
Yeah.
Thinking innovative ways out of this crisis.
Although weirdly, as a country, we're paying more tax than we have since records began, yet we have the worst public services since records began. So
that's because we failed to grow the pie. Only we'd listen to Liz Truss. The pie remains annoyingly similarly sized.
Right. So now, Domi arigato, Mr. Roboto. Yes, this week we are going to be having a look at the Metal Man of Falkville. If people want to look it up, that's Falkville, like Peter Falk, Colombo, and Ville, as French for town.
Is this a little town where Colombo is revered, or Peter Falk possibly?
I believe this is where he came from.
Oh, okay.
This is where he came from, and he named it because he didn't have a surname.
It wasn't named after him. Everyone who comes from.
Well, yeah.
So it's a bit like we had Leonardo da Vinci, because he was from
Da Vinci,
a particular part of Italy. So he's like, Peter of Falk.
Yes.
Falkville. Yeah.
Falktown. Peter of Falktown.
Yeah.
Hello.
His real name was Peter de Falkville.
I'm here to go for the world of Colombo. I am Peter from Falkville.
Okay,
are we sure that's Peter Falk?
Just read the lines.
Just one more thing. You got the part.
Nice. So the Metal Man of Peter
First episode of Colombo, directed by who, Chris?
Huh? The first
episode of Colombo.
Was it Tony Scott?
No, Steven Spielberg.
Oh.
Peter Falk was like, this lad's a bit too good for TV. Wasn't wrong.
What? That's what he said.
No, Peter Falk could see he was a good director, like the way he'd sort of the style he used to in the pilot and stuff like that. And he's like, this lad's too good for TV.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it ran well over budget.
Yeah,
and the rest of them, every single episode in the rest of the series was done on the same set.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought
have you seen it? Is it spectacularly
I have. It's
directed?
Quite well done. I'm a bit of, I quite like a bit of Colombo. I started, rewatching some of it during the pandemic, and then,
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think it might be free on one of the Amazon or something like that.
Do you remember when you used to wear that trench coat and call yourself the Port Slade Colombo?
Well, we don't talk about that, Chris. I thought we made that clear.
Because you didn't have anything underneath, did you?
Well, okay. Don't need to get into specifics. You can all throw stones.
Fair enough. So, if you want to have a look at, there's pictures of this.
Right.
This lad.
Metal Man of Falkville.
Yeah. So,
talking about
got a bit of a Tin Man vibe.
I mean, what I've first seen, it looks like a really blurry photo. So I'm going to see if I can find something.
Hey, man, this is the 70s. Yeah, you didn't have your 10 megapixels. Don't worry about me. Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's a whole reel.
There's a lot look the same. Let's have a look.
Yeah, so I'm going to start reading about him.
Fair enough. Yeah, he does look like he's in a little tinfoil suit.
So I'm going to So the thing is, right, there's lots of different articles, but they're all relatively samey. So I'm just going to start off with something from the very popular website, New Cryptology Wiki.
Nice. Can't go wrong with that.
Absolutely. So, while reports of alien encounters seem to be a dime a dozen, there are very few photographs of what eyewitnesses purport to be actual extraterrestrial beings. This case is one of those rare exceptions. And to make matters even more intriguing, pictures were taken by none other than the police chief who was sent to investigate a UFO landing.
Oh. See, that's interesting because
Trusty
I won't
police
spoil them.
chiefs.
Well, because I've been reading about this because it's not dissimilar to our finale topic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, it also involves a police source. And apparently that, I was reading about a ufologist who was saying that makes it a bit more trusted because, somebody in a position of authority.
Yeah.
They're not going to, less likely to be doing a hoax or something like that.
Could have PTSD.
It could be.
So, on the soft, that's a weird descriptor, autumn evening of October 17th, 1973, Jeff Greenshaw, then 26-year-old chief of police of Falkville, Alabama, was just settling in with his wife for a well-deserved night of rest, and I reckon some heavy petting. Don't mind if I do. Ma'am, do you mind if I sit here?
That was his wife, in fairness.
Yeah, I know, but they're very formal, aren't they?
That's true.
Even if you're married, you'd say, "Oh, hello, good lady. Would you mind if I sit down here for some heavy petting?"
That's how it goes.
Why, sir, you have the advantage of me.
I think we've gone back to the 1920s now, possibly the 1820s.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's true, yeah. No, my other reflection is 26. Blimey, that's young for chief of police, I would have thought. Is it quite a small town? I don't know.
I think so, and I think it's just, like we've mentioned in previous ones, I think it's just the person in the town that has the most guns.
Yeah, well, why not?
Why not, eh? Saves a bit of money, doesn't it, out of the public purse? So he was settling down for his night of heavy petting when he... It's not even Alabama accent. That's Louisiana, isn't it?
I was going to say, yeah. Where are we? This one,
Alabama.
We're in Alabama. Oh, yeah.
Kind of south, innit?
Yeah. Much as we know.
Yeah, I don't even know. Where is Alabama? It's in Canada or something?
Yeah.
When he received an emergency call just after 10 that would change his life forever. The call was from a nearly hysterical and, to this day, anonymous woman who claimed that an unidentified flying object had landed just outside of town in a field which was owned by Bobby Summerfoot.
Oh, Bob's.
Bobby!
Oh, BS.
Not in Bobby's field. That's where we get our potatoes. Thus begins arguably the second most bizarre case of an alien encounter to come out of the American South in the very same month.
Ooh. Roswell was the 30s, wasn't it?
No, it's 40s, 50s.
Oh, okay. Well, some decades before. I don't know.
But that isn't the American South. That's the American Southwest.
Yeah.
New Mexico. Although he was off duty, you're never off duty if you're chief of police in Falkville, I'll tell you that much. Not much.
I would have thought so.
Greenshaw, abiding by his sworn duty to serve and protect, jumped up, snagging his keys, cuffs, revolver, and almost as an afterthought, his trusty Polaroid camera, on the off chance there might be something worth taking a shot of. He then hopped into his truck, radioed the call in, and flew to the location of the allegedly flying saucer landing. I think drove is better than flew.
But maybe they've got flying cars over there, wouldn't surprise me.
No, I mean, they're ahead of us, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Oh. All that MIT stuff.
Oh, yeah. You never know what's going to happen.
No, tell me about it. When Grinshaw arrived on the scene, he got out of his truck and patrolled the area, but claimed to find nothing out of the ordinary. The chief then returned to his vehicle and decided to take a drive around Barby's field before returning home. Greenshaw,
check it out.
Yeah, well, you got to check on the taters.
That's true. Yeah.
So Greenshaw,
Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Which I think we are. I think
Thanksgiving's I think it's yesterday. It
just happened, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to anyone who celebrates it.
Yeah.
And
fairly belated Happy Thanksgiving by the time this goes out. But
yeah, there's lots of funny stuff on social media about people not understanding the Archimedes principle. Not understanding the Archimedes principle and putting turkeys into scalding hot fat, but then obviously the level of the fat rose and there was and they all died because of flames. Hey man, if you're gonna not have the deep fried turkey, what's the point of being alive?
Well, precisely, yeah. Deserve to be on fire.
So Greenshaw. So after where were we?
I was just going to patrol the field.
Yeah. Greenshaw cruised around the perimeter of Summerford's property, scanning the darkness for anything unusual, but saw nothing of merit in the murky blackness.
Yeah, I assume nothing happens when he goes home.
Yeah, that's it, Neil. What do you reckon?
It's certainly believable.
You can see why I did so much chatting at the start.
I mean, yeah, and it'd be quite spooky as well, wouldn't it? Because being out in the dark, I think we might have our first 80-pointer here, Chris.
Yeah, in the south, in the dark.
Because really, it's about man struggling
in a flying truck.
Yeah,
it's what this story is really about is that the places that your mind can go when you're on your own. So, he then turned down a narrow, gravelly path for one final pass. That was when he came face to face with the unthinkable.
Really?
After travelling down the path for about 100 yards, Greenshaw saw an entity that he described as a humanoid figure standing in the next to the road, about 75 feet away. The chief got out of his truck and carefully approached with what
humanoid suggests it wasn't a human.
Well, the chief got out of his truck and carefully approached what he still assumed to be a human, thinking that it might be someone in need of assistance.
Yeah.
Or a good whooping.
He's got the gun just in case.
Yeah, of course. Got a gun trained on him all times. Greenshaw shouted at his strange companion, but it did not respond.
Companion's a weird choice of words.
There's a lot of weird choices of words in this, Neil. I'll warn you. As he got to within 15 feet of the being, it was being illuminated by his truck's high beams. The chief realized that something was very wrong. The entity appeared to be wearing some kind of silvery metallic suit that resembled thick aluminium foil.
It's poorly cut as well by the sound of it.
Well, yeah, terribly tailored.
It's no Savile Row, this.
Oh my goodness, where did you get that monstrosity?
It's draped over you like a curtain, old man.
Why not just cut a hole in the burlap sack and be damned with it? Some reports also indicated that its stature was somewhat childlike or simian, like a monkey in a spacesuit, which is the name of my prog rock band.
Oh, yeah.
Greenshaw described what he saw. It looked like the head and neck were kind of made together. He was real bright, something like rubbing mercury on nickel, but just as smooth as a glass, different angles that gave different light in. When I saw him stand in the middle of the road, I immediately stopped the car and asked if he was a foreigner, but no sound came out of his mouth.
He's just Swedish, lad.
It's just a Swedish
lad. Just dressed in his typical Swedish way.
Hey, I'm looking for the road to Birmingham. Do you know the way?
Yeah.
Hey, you foreigner! Yeah,
And listen to some of the good blues.
See, this is the thing,
Where
right?
are the juking joints?
Where are the juking joints? Hey, I'm a big fan of the glam metal.
Yeah, that's probably what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just a glam rocker.
It's just a glam rocker got lost in a field. It's one of Slade, presumably.
Yeah, what a
Noddy
Slade.
Holder.
Noddy Holder having like done some LSD.
Yeah. He was going to go back to Birmingham, ended up in Birmingham, Alabama.
I couldn't believe it would have ended up now.
Yeah.
I don't even remember getting on an aeroplane.
I'm getting the third degree from this policeman.
I was trying to get back to Birmingham, ended up in Birmingham, Alabama. So
I wonder if my airplane was involved. Oh, that was a terrible Brummie accent anyway.
Yeah, it was good. No,
Went off piece there.
Don't worry about it.
We
don't have any listeners in Birmingham.
Fair enough.
We've had more listeners in Birmingham, Alabama than we have in Birmingham, England.
Yeah.
Greenshaw also noted that the thing had an antenna sticking out atop its head.
So it can contact the home base, presumably.
I mean, the thing is, right, with the UFO stuff, or like people kind of like, it's suspicious to me that the technology that the aliens always have is
very similar to
human technology
yeah.
of the time. They don't have it. It's not like, oh, they had this stuff and it was unexplainable or anything. Like the early kind of pictures of UFOs, they've got like windows in like submarines and stuff.
Yeah.
And now they've completely changed. It's kind of it.
But you say this, Chris, but it might have looked like a radio antenna, but maybe it was like a death ray or something. So we don't know, do we?
A death ray. I don't know.
Or a mind reader.
I mean, my phone doesn't have an antenna. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
You think if they can cross the vast distances involved, which would undoubtedly be involved, then they'd be fairly well beyond our level of technology.
It could, but who knows? It could be like Bender from Futurama and it's his penis.
Yeah, it could be that. Or maybe it's a bit like that Star Trek episode where they all got stuck in the past and had to use current technology. Spock had to build a computer out of like valves and tinfoil and that.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did it work? Of course it did.
It did work, of course, yeah. He's a Vulcan, he do anything. It's one with Joan Collins in it.
I've not seen it. Is that a film? Is it the film?
Yeah, it was...
not The Journey Home.
It's one of the best rated episodes. It's called something like City in the Edge of Forever or whatever. It's on Netflix. It's worth a watch, actually.
I don't really like the original series.
Yeah. No, I've never gotten through it, but that one's worth a watch. It's quite famous.
Right. Maybe I will one day.
Half an hour out of your day, do you know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, got other stuff to be getting on with.
Not, but yeah, fair enough. Anyway, maybe he's got stuck in the, stuck on Earth to reconstruct himself.
That could be it, couldn't it?
Fashioning it out of these Earthman materials. It does look just like a bad tinfoil suit and an aerial on top, but that's all the materials he's had.
I just think it's still really funny that the chief of police stopped him and asked if he was a foreigner.
Yeah, that's pretty good as well. Well, you might have thought he was a spy. He's still got
Russians.
A bit of
I ain't never seen a Russian. Are you a Russian boy? So it had the antenna, and its movements were jerky and mechanical,
and it was simian as well,
like the dance, the robot. It's silver, yeah. So this necklace, wrinkled skin, antenna-bearing robotic description is not unlike Charles Hickson's observation of his own freakish intergalactic kidnappers, the Pascagoula alien abductors, who had picked up Hickson and his young friend Calvin Parker in Mississippi just days before this event.
Oh, okay, so that was the one they were alluding to.
Yeah. So we've got two eyewitnesses here now, and photographic evidence. 3 eyewitnesses.
It's what game, set, and match. What more do you need, skeptics?
So it's possible that Greenshaw might just have encountered the same ostensibly extraterrestrial entities that allegedly abducted the two Mississippi dock workers on the evening of Thursday, October 11th, 1973. It would be curious to note whether or not Parker or Hickson had ever seen the Falkville photos and what their opinions were if they had. So they never went, "What was this it?" So quickly, the shocked Greenshaw realised he was dealing with something unknown and, pushing his panic aside with years of police training, 26.
Yes, because they're not that many.
Had the presence of mind to pick up his instant camera.
We don't know. He might have been like,
He might have Doogie Howser.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he was 10 when he first
Might be like Boss Baby.
Yeah.
Had the presence of mind.
I mean, you assume he hasn't had more than 20 years on the force, but I suppose that's reasonably.
But could you don't know? I don't know. Like,
well, you can't have started earlier than 6, can they?
We could have.
Well, technically,
yeah,
unlikely. I mean, that's how I'm pitching that.
Look, it's unlikely, but it's possible, isn't it? You don't know. Like, maybe no one else wanted the job.
Unlikely, but possible. That's the.
Why are you saying 20 years?
Podcast.
Why are you saying 20 years on the job specifically?
I'm just saying it couldn't have been more than 20. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The point we're making is that 26 is not going to have probably that many years of experience.
Anyway, he had the presence of mind to pick up his instant camera and shoot 4 photographs. The first Polaroid shows nothing but inky darkness and a flash of silver. But the next 3 images hit the jackpots.
Nice.
In the photos, one can clearly see a human-like figure walking wearing a wrinkly metallic suit, which is reflecting the flash from the Polaroid's bulb. Perhaps believing that it was being attacked by a human with some kind of light beam weapon, the creature almost
put on his light reflective suit.
Oh, idiot. The creature almost instantaneously turned and began sprinting across the field at speeds far in excess of those capable by a human being.
Again, it's quite low tech, isn't it? You just cheesed it.
Well, I don't know, Neil. Do you consider the peak of natural evolution to be low tech? Do you? Yeah, just a whole of millions of years of evolution. You're saying that's not advanced enough tech for you?
Well, not for my alien friend, but
I think you're weird.
Well, there we go. Anyway, so he's decided to sort of run off, but at speeds that no man could catch him. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I assume he gets back in the truck and tries to follow him.
Well, you'll find out, won't you?
I will do.
Greenshaw noticed.
Hopefully.
Well, maybe
suddenly
not.
clam up.
Yeah, well, do you know what?
You're done with this one now.
This attitude which you're giving me, I'm thinking I might start clamming up. Yeah. Do you know what? Like, if you're not going to cooperate, I'm not going to cooperate.
Fair enough.
Right. Well, that's this week's episode.
Yeah, that's that one wrapped up. We won't bother with scores. Didn't get enough out.
Bye.
See ya.
Greenshaw noted that it seemed to be heading in the general direction of Lacon, which is about 3 miles away from Falkville. The chief
might not get a burger joint there or something.
Yeah,
Lacon's, a nice place to stay.
Lacon's a French clothes manufacturer, isn't it, as well?
Vaguely rings a bell.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. You've got Peter Falk's, you've got French clothes manufacturing outlet stores or whatever. So the chief reacted swiftly and ran back to his truck. There you go, Neil.
There you go.
And took off in pursuit of the Metal Man. Greenshaw would state that he managed to accelerate his truck only to about 35 miles per hour due to the rough terrain of the field and to protect the spurs, but that he was still completely outrun by this unusual entity, which, not unlike Finland's Kinula humanoid or London's notorious Spring-Heeled Jack, which we looked at in Series 1, I think.
Podcast many years ago, yeah.
Seemed to be able to defy the laws of gravity with its speed and spring-like jumps. According to Greenshaw, he ran a bizarre way. He seemed to have springs on the feet for the propulsions. He could cover about 3 meters in every way. He was running faster than any human I ever saw.
Well, how do we know this isn't Spring Heel Jack? Because he turned up in America at some point, didn't he? He was knocking around till about the 60s, I think was the last we heard of him.
No, he wasn't in America
Liverpool.
ever.
Did he not? He
No.
might have gotten over there.
Well, he might have done. But, I mean, didn't we conclude that Spring Heel Jack was just some posh lads doing pranks?
Probably, yeah. But who knows, Chris? Who knows?
Who knows? I think posh lads might have decided to go and do pranks in Alabama.
Yeah. Pop on a tinfoil suit, get your springs on. Tend to be an alien.
So, during this frantic off-road pursuit, Greenshaw claims he lost control of his truck and slid into a ditch.
Oh, it'll happen.
It'll happen. At which point he watched as the creature slipped into the darkness, never to be seen again, leaving Grenshaw with only his haunting memories of the event and a single controversial Polaroid. Well, I thought we had 3 anyway. Unlike Hickson and Parker, who seemed, for better or worse, to be destined for fame following the aforementioned alien encounter in Pascagoula, Greenshaw's experience was instantly met with skeptical derision, if not outright ridicule. Within months of revealing his bizarre encounter, the chief of police was terminated by the town council. Oh, this is quite bad. His marriage fell apart, and just when it seemed matters couldn't get any worse, his home was burnt to the ground.
Okay, so he's not had a good year, has he?
He's not had a good year at all. I feel a bit bad now.
I mean, the thing I'll say, okay, he had some votes. Yeah, even if it was like a hoax or whatever, it's a bit harsh.
Again, your wife shouldn't leave you and you lose your job, and maybe lose your job, but house burnt to the ground. Yeah,
demotion maybe. I don't know. It seems a bit drastic.
Well, the thing is, if the police are anything like the rules of being police in the UK, which I'm not from being a police officer, but having worked closely-ish with them in the past, I know honesty is like a really important thing.
Yeah.
So you can lose your job for lying.
No, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so they...
Because it's like the idea is that you're held to higher standards. I mean, like we all know that it's not necessarily the case, but like the idea is that you're held to higher standards, and that like if you break the covenants of being honest, then you can get a chop. So. All of the above factors have thrown kerosene on the already brightly burning flames of the UFO conspiracy theories surrounding this event, and more to the point, give a clear indication as to why most contactees and eyewitnesses remain silent regarding their unusual experiences. Some ufologists believe that the Metal Man was a robotic scout for an extraterrestrial landing craft, while skeptics maintain it was a hoax perpetrated by Greenshaw and an unknown accomplice, brackets likely a child, don't know where they're getting that from, who was clad in a tin-foil costume. The images that Greenshaw snapped were collected and sent for analysis by Walt Andrus, a director at MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. The conclusions drawn by the analytics were that the encounter was most likely a fabrication, probably inspired by the furore surrounding the recent Pascagoula case, and that aluminium foil, or perhaps more ambitiously, an asbestos fire suit, which coated in a layer of reflected aluminium, was used to create the unusual look of the creature. Interestingly, the negatives of the Greenshaw pictures that were studied by MUFON seem to show the images of a flying saucer amongst them, though no one's ever claimed to have photographed that object initially reported. So there's a UFO in the background, which he didn't spot.
I'm a bit confused now. Because of Polaroids, aren't they? Do they have negatives? Okay. Oh, is it in like the
little white bit at the bottom?
Bit at the bottom, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Perhaps the pictures are from another alleged UFO case, or maybe there's more to this story than has previously been told. While it's virtually impossible to ascertain whether or not his is a real close encounter or a fraud, it seems clear that Chief Greenshaw garnered no financial gain or positive notoriety, even though encounter has been mentioned in numerous books detailing alleged encounters, due to his experiences, and while he managed to rebuild some semblance of a normal life, all reports indicate that he continues to regret his encounters with the unknown.
It's interesting because I'm looking at there's obviously different versions of this story, or because it depends on how you define that. They've made it a bit more tragic there, because I'm looking at the Common Tribune from 2021, and according to this,
yes, I've got that. I'm going to have a look at that in a minute.
Oh yeah, I mean, it looks like he went on to have a reasonably happy life. Actually, like, he didn't make money out of it, but I mean, I'm going to assume if his wife left him, then he remarried. But he raised kids and got back on his feet and whatnot, by the sounds of it. So
we're going to have a little look at the Carmen Tribune now. Okay. This is by Chris Perry from July 10th, 2021. Just because there's a bit more from Greenshaw in this, isn't there?
There's some other, and there's some other bits and pieces that he mentions as well. Yes, I'll let you pick those bits out.
So, Greenshaw, who rarely gives interviews about that night, sat down for an interview with Red Water Filmworks less than a year ago to discuss what he saw that night. He said, "I was hired in January of 1973, and this all came down October 17th, 1973. He would resign from his position a week later. So, was he sacked? Did he resign? Was he pushed now, or was he advised to resign?
Advised, yeah. Be easy all round.
So, what did he see? His first thought was that he was simply dealing with an idiot.
Yep.
Or a foreigner. He explained, after that, things were just so strange. This wasn't real. It wasn't really happening, but it was happening to me. Why me? He was looking at a figure slightly taller than 6 feet, wearing reflective metal material that Greenshaw described as saying, "My initial thoughts are maybe it was aluminium foil, but there were no pieces around there after it was all over. I don't know what to believe at that point." He described the suit in his reports from that evening, saying, "It looked like the head and neck kind of made together. He was real bright, something like rubbing mercury on nickel, but as smooth as glass, different angles getting dim lighting. The movement of the figure was not human-like. Whenever I think about it, when I was a child, I used to watch the movie Lost in Space. The robot in that movie, it kind of reminded me of that to some extent."
That looked like it was made out of old Hoover parts then.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a load of cardboard boxes and Hoover covered in tinfoil, more or less.
Yeah, with
Leslie Nielsen's in that movie as well.
It was a TV series, wasn't it? Lost in Space?
It was a TV series, but it was originally a movie. I think it was
Have you seen the
an
modern
adaptation of a Shakespeare.
Have you seen the modern one?
What, with Matt LeBlanc? No.
No. The modern TV series on.
Oh no. Any good?
Nah, not really.
I didn't really. Yeah, didn't look. I've neither seen the movie with Matt LeBlanc or the new TV series. I think I saw the original movie years ago. But yeah, very fake looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember I'm assuming the TV series
like a fish bowl for a head with
like a fishbowl head, and then like a sort of just like on top of a cardboard box with like Hoover attachments for arms, kind of looking thing.
So Greenshaw grabbed his Polaroid 2 camera and snapped about 4 photos of whatever was standing in front of him. Before he took the photos, he did speak to the figure. He explained, "I said something to the effect of, 'Howdy, stranger,' and there was no response at all. I didn't push my luck. At that point, I reached in and turned the blue lights on the patrol car to see how reflected the material really was. Then when I looked back, it was moving away from me, so I decided to chase it down, and if I had to, run it over. That didn't happen either."
Why would you have to run it over?
Look, he's resisting arrest.
No, that's true.
Mow the fuck.
I'm surprised he hasn't gotten the old gun out and started taking a few pot shots yet.
Wow.
Do you reckon that was why he had to resign?
because he hadn't unloaded 49
yeah,
clips.
he hadn't loaded at least 3 clips yet. Clearly going outside the operational parameters.
When you come back from a patrol with the
Very
Alabama
clear
State
on this.
Police, they count how many bullets you've got, and if it's the same as the amount as when you went out, then you're on.
Yeah.
Then internal affairs start looking into you.
Yeah, all right.
He took the photos and laid them out on the console of the patrol car. When he looked back, the figure was moving. He said, "It wasn't moving just like your album move. It's like it had springs on its feet or something." And the strange being was said to have run away, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It eventually lose sight of the figure after crashing his patrol car.
Yeah.
And it went into the darkness.
So it's a slightly different version of events from the other one, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah, interesting.
So he had the 4 photos he took in a safe place for several years following the encounter, but he claims almost 10 years later, to the date, someone broke into his home and stole the 4 pictures.
Do you reckon it was the alien? It was like, oh, I look good on those.
I'll put these on my
I've got some
Tinder
talent, yeah.
He filed a police report in 1983 regarding the break-in. Also missing were his service revolver and shotgun.
Well, if he'd resigned 10 years
well,
ago,
how's he
why
still
has he still got a service revolver? Yeah. Every cliched TV series I've seen, you've got to turn in your gun and your badge.
You'd turn your gun and badge when you resign.
But I would have thought that was fairly... Nah, you keep that, don't worry, mate.
That's right.
Need more bullets for it?
Yeah, it's something to remember you by.
Yeah.
I filled this backpack full of bullets.
Yeah, nice. Drop by if you ever need that topping up.
Let us know.
You know.
We look after our own rounds here.
Exactly, yeah.
Look, it might not have worked
but you've left
out
under a
at the end
cloud,
of the
but,
day.
you know.
Come on. I took them out and looked at them frequently for those 10 years that I had them. I thought, that's really weird. The only 3 things I had with me that night, the shotgun in the car, the service revolver, and the pictures, all 3 of them came up missing. He said, I pretty well withdrew myself from the public for years. All right, you weren't like Warren Beatty, withdrawing from public life.
Yeah, and he's in Hiroshima 30s. But mind you, I suppose if you're the chief of police, you probably would have been sort of going around and getting to know people. I don't know, how big is this place?
It's not. I don't think it's a big place.
Yeah, it's not like it's the coast of Hollywood or whatever, but yeah.
So
I think it means he kept himself to himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do interviews about it and stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
So people made life difficult for Greenshaw after he recounted his experience that night. People who were supposed to be my friends. The only thing I found out is that I couldn't really trust anyone. I withdrew, I ran, and I went places to try and get away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Greenshaw and his wife raised 5 children, 3 of whom were adopted. That's nice.
Yeah.
And he added, I turned out to be a person I never dreamed I'd be because of what happened. It made me hard, but it made me strong as well. I came close to losing my sanity, but my wife and God kept me from losing my sanity.
I'm going for the Oscar here, Chris.
I've already got it in the bag.
I think it's a bit overwritten, to be honest with you.
That's the only thing that kept me going. I'm still a believer in life after death, and at one point, I didn't believe there was any other life source in the universe, but that really changed.
He's a believer in alien existence now.
He is, and God. Greenshaw never sought financial gain from the encounter. If anything, sticking to his accounts, that strange autumn evening made his life incredibly difficult and left him isolated and ridiculed by many. Whether you believe or don't believe in Grenshaw's encounter was with an extraterrestrial being, one thing is certain. He definitely witnessed something strange in the field that night.
It's not certain. I think in fairness, it could have been a hoax, and then he stuck to his story because he just being bloody minded. That does happen.
Well, double down, isn't it?
Yeah.
He would have made a good politician.
Double down. But at the same time, it could have been somebody doing a hoax in the field, and he didn't know. He just stumbled across it. I mean, the fact that they run away at more than 35 miles an hour, but if your adrenaline's up, you don't really know how fast you're driving. yeah, I don't know.
It could have been someone coming back from a Wizard of Oz theme party. Do you know what I mean?
Or a Lost in Space Halloween costume.
A Lost in
Halloween,
Space sex party.
Yeah.
What do they call it? They call themselves space juicers.
Yes.
Isn't it? It's quite popular. Quite popular in the South. Well, that's the story, Neil. That's the story. Should we go through our scoring system?
Yeah, you kind of want to believe him, don't you? It's I don't know. Who knows?
So, Neil, spookiness.
I mean, okay, so it's the 70s. You kind of out of field. I mean, assuming it's as he sort of said, and it was kind of like the photo does really look a bit sort of tinfoil and all the rest of it, but given the benefit of the doubt, it did look much weirder in person. Yeah, I mean, it would be. I mean, it's not threatened him or anything, has it? And he still had the presence of mind to be able to whip out a Polaroid and take a few photos.
I mean, that's the suspicious thing, isn't it? Why, when answering a actually,
no, if it was a
UFO thing,
you go, well, I will bring a camera along because you never know. You might see something. I don't have a massive problem. Even though it's almost certainly fake, there might be something weird to have a look at.
Yeah, no, that's true. It wasn't because I was thinking, well, if you just called out on the police call,
it was a random thing. Why would you bring a camera along? But yeah, you've been told.
It was actually.
I mean, the fact that it was an anonymous call, and he's had to immediately respond to it. I mean, did you really have to?
I mean, it sounds like it could just be some kids fucking about. Well, I've just seen a UFO in this field, and then someone's there dressed in a hazmat suit or something.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, where they would have got the costumes and stuff with, but yeah,
well, I mean, difficult.
I think it basically boils down to two things, doesn't it? Either he's dreamt up a hoax, but for what reason we can't really.
No, three things.
Go on.
So he's dreamt up a hoax, or he's been hoaxed.
Yeah, that was my second one.
Or it's a Tin Man from outer space.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't paying a lot of credence to the third option, but yeah, you're right. That's one possibility. One possibility we shouldn't rule out. But yeah, genuine encounter with a hoax, but he hasn't realised it's a hoax, or it's potentially a hoax that he's in on.
So come on.
Anyway,
give me some numbers.
It's not that spooky. I mean, if you were genuinely believing it was something, from another planet or whatever, that would be, a little bit spooky, I suppose, and just something out in the middle of the field you're not expecting. I'll give it a 4.
It's 4. So, I think like you can imagine it's like no street lights, it's fucking dark. You're going down this road and then suddenly you see something weird. I think that could I think just naturally as a human that would spook you up a bit. So I think for him it's probably spooky. Am I particularly spooked by the thought of tin men from space? Not really. Unless they're real. And then I don't know. I mean, even then, like it's kind of like
depends what they want, doesn't it?
Yeah, it depends what
they're
they want.
They're just going to run away with their spring-heeled legs.
Yeah, then again,
like cowards.
Fucking cowards.
Maybe he thought it was in a race.
Yeah.
That's the alien's sort of starter gun, is when you have like a Polaroid flash.
A light, Polaroid flash. Go.
Chase me.
Maybe it's flirting.
Playing it, yeah.
Chase me. Shut that door. Oh, chase me. Maybe that is it. Maybe it's flirting. But flirting can be scary.
Yeah.
If it's someone you're not interested in, or if it's someone you are interested in. Both cases, it's a nerve-wracking experience. So because of that, I'm giving it a 6-0. Believability.
Glad we cleared that up.
So believability. So something's happened because there's pictures, right? So obviously it's got some believability. Do I believe it's something from outer space? Probably not. But something's happened, so I'm going to give it a 7-0.
Blimey. I'm probably going to get lower because, yes, we've got photo evidence. I mean, it's a bit weird that the stuff got stolen, but there you go. But it's not if anything, it kind of like, it doesn't really, again, it's one of these really, really grainy things. It doesn't, just shows a vaguely humanoid, well, it shows what looks like a person wrapped up in tinfoil, frankly, with an antenna on top of their helmet. It's nothing you can easily mock up. I don't think the photo constitutes that much evidence. I'm prepared to believe it may have been a hoax, that he may have,
he might have been
just
tricked.
came out in the middle of them, and he was kind of like,
bored kids.
Yeah. Or whatever, just somebody. So, yeah.
But the thing is, right, they've got to be pretty stupid bored kids as well, because these guys have got a lot of firepower. So,
I mean, it's probably a more innocent time, wasn't it? Where it wasn't as.
Nah.
I don't know. Well, I mean, depending
Has there ever been an innocent time in Alabama?
No, okay, fair enough. But, yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking it might not have been. So I really don't know.
Trigger happy.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably a lot of other I mean, obviously, there are other bad things happening at the same time, but maybe we weren't quite as trigger happy, perhaps. But maybe, I don't know. I haven't got the
not a risk
stats. No, fair enough. No stats to back that up. I'm just thinking, imagining if you're in a kind of like rural area where everyone knows each other, there's probably less likelihood of people just.
So come on,
guns first. But yeah, no, it's not inherently believable for me. I'm going to give it a 4. Another 4.
Okay, narrative premise now.
I mean, you've got the fact that. I mean, I always think like you could do an interesting thing about somebody who believes what they've seen, and so there's nothing particularly interesting about the Tin Man in a field. Frankly, it's just, he's not been abducted or anything. There's far juicier ones in terms of all of that.
But maybe he's trying to find a heart. Yeah,
well, you could look into the motivations of the Tin Man. I suppose there's one thing, but I suppose in terms of a narrative, whether or not the fact that it's kind of, we've seen this before on one of them, haven't we? Where his life kind of fell apart because everyone just thought it was, it was obviously a hoax and all the rest of it. Yeah. Some of them seem to become almost celebrities, and some of them seem to be,
pariahs.
Become pariahs, exactly. So, yeah, that's probably why I take that. But yeah, it's not a lot to hook onto here. There's not a lot that happens. I think a weird detail is, I suppose, both the suit itself and then the fact that he kind of run away at super speeds. But again, none of that's massively different from what you've seen before, and it all looks like a bit of cheap sci-fi. Yeah, so I guess it's going to be another 4 for me. Maybe I'll end up with 4 4s. It's going to be interesting.
I don't think it's great. I think the narrative premise for me is that it was flirting. It was like a mating thing, and
definitely not something we made up during the scoring round.
It doesn't matter. That's how. How these things. All stories are made up.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it was flirting with him. All this stuff happens. His wife leaves him. I'd be interested to know if the two, because he's got 5 kids, 3 of which are adopted. I'd be interested to know if the 2 which aren't adopted are half Tin Man. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. I think that's something to have a look at. Maybe it's a love for the ages. So, but nonetheless, I'm giving it a 4.
Fair enough.
Reach, not massive, I don't think. I found it rather than you about it. So it's been in some sort of quite specific books, and obviously it's known a bit in the area, but I don't think it's very big, so I'm giving it 3.
Okay. Not really much to say on that one. Doesn't seem to have a massive amount of reach, but I'm going to give it a 4 again, just for symmetry reasons.
Very nice. So that's an overall score of 34. That's nice. It's not right in the middle.
No, good. We've gone a bit to the left of the bell curve.
Love it. Week. If you are a Tin Man and are interested in joining the podcast, then
teach us your ways.
Please email us at urb.legends with an s.podcast@gmail.com, or for anything else or any comments or ideas. Our ears are always open, and you can also we're on X/Twitter at Legends Urbane. But that's it for this week. Next week we are on our final episode of the series.
Yeah.
After that, so series 6 will be starting in the new year on the 4th, but over Christmas starting Christmas Day and finishing New Year's Eve, we will be doing a mini series of daily half-hour episodes, just because we know that's a boring period. And for the next couple of weeks, I'll be putting out a couple of classics, which is 2 episodes from the first series, but wedged together and cutting out a load of stuff. So enjoy them if you can or dare. But apart from that, we will see you next week for the finale. And if you have recently had Thanksgiving, I hope it was a good laugh, and you put on a few trouser or dress sizes.
Nice.
It's an eating holiday. Yeah, that's it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.